welcome back everybody to another test hand video. Today I've got my going second build of Mermails. I'm going to be running through some just basic plays and how I operate the deck, sort of how I would handle every situation from really bad to really good. I'll try to throw in some going first plays in there as well, although with this deck it's basically just some common Moulin Glacier setups, some minor link plays. Depending on how you open, you might be able to make a synchro on top of that. Like I said, though, this is the strictly going second build. Like OTK, not like very little link presence in this deck. Like I'm playing 3 links in the deck, just as a reminder. So don't expect too many crazy build a board going first combos. Just thought I'd put that out there. So this is going to be a bunch of going second test hands most likely. And also, you guys know our lovely sponsor Imperium Duelist, how wonderful they are. They sent me this playmat, and it just came in the mail like last week sometime, and I was so looking forward to this mat getting here. This is their latest design, their tour guide mat, printed on their King's Robe material, much like their Millennium one was. It does have beat cop of the underworld and tour guide of the underworld here as well on the reverse side, and the artwork was done by Tombox, actually, from MSTTV. I think he knocked it out of the park 100%. A quick review of the mat, though, I gotta say, I do like it a lot better than the Millennium one, strictly because there aren't any zones on it. It's much more minimalistic. It's really soft to the touch. It doesn't give you like an annoying feel to it or anything. It's very soft to the touch. The design here does give a bit of a sheen, and depending on where you look at it, it appears darker or lighter. Same thing with the rest of the fabric. It does have a cool sort of holographic effect to it, and on the back side of this, it does have this other material, sort of just to keep everything intact, I should say. It does sort of come up a little bit on the edges in some places, so I would keep that in mind. Do treat it with care. It is a very well crafted mat, and it should be treated like so. Treated nicely. Keep it in its bag that it comes in. Protect it. Treat it well, and it'll treat you well in return. But yeah, this sort of does have a bit of a slight different texture. It's a little bit more grippy here where the artwork is, although it's not like too distracting, I would say, from playing cards on. I did take it to a tournament and I had 0 problems with it. But other than that, fantastic quality playmat for the price point. If you guys are interested in picking it up for 10% off, you can do that by checking out the links in the description. Check it out. Use that code and you get 10% off on all future purchases if you'd like to support me and save a little money in the process. But enough of that, but we'll go ahead and get started. And like I said, I'm going to keep these all to pretty much just going second hands because for this particular build, most going first hands revolve around just simple Moulin Glacier plays, minor link plays, like I said, and sometimes some synchro plays. But I want to keep going second all the time with this deck because it's just so much fun. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, but a lot of decks do want to go first this format and play build a board. So going second most of the time isn't always going to be something that's completely out of the realm of possibilities, like some people may think. But yeah, we'll go ahead and draw into our first hand. So 3 off-topic, or I would say not off-topic, but off-looking cards to see an opening hand of a Mermail hand. But we do have quite a few combo pieces here, and this should prove to be a very interesting hand. The only thing that would make it better, in my opinion, is if this Moria Gree was Deep Sea Diva. Then we'd be popping off like absolute craziness. So yeah, Birdman was a card that I did decide to cut. Not cut, but put in place of Fishborg Launcher, because I found that making level 7s and 9s and other synchros and level 10 synchros were much more common than making level 8s, and that's mainly what Fishborg Launcher helped to do. So that's what I cut him for, and he's a beautiful looking DT. So I don't know, it's just something I wanted to put in there. And there's also cool plays with him and Diva as well. Some of you may be aware of that. So I would probably use the Moray of Greed, but I'm not going to be greedy, and I'm not going to use it. So as much as I'd like to, I'm going to start though with Foolish Burial, and we do have one of our little combo extenders left in deck, and that is a little seahorse by the name of Sea Archiver. Basically, if a monster is normal or special summon to his own elite monster points to, except during the damage step, you can special summon it from your grave or your hand, and then it gets banished when it leaves the field. So yeah, it's just a little neat combo extender, level 3 Cyber's Water. That does come up sometimes, pretty helpful. So we'll start with the Prince play, of course. Sending Dragoons, we'll add just a regular Megalo, and where's Dragoons as well. I know that's not in the correct order, but just save a little time and just grab our classic Dragoons and our classic Megalo. So what we could also do, instead of just grabbing, so we have the double Dragoons, we could grab another Prince and discard it to bring something back. That'd be something to keep in mind if we were going first. But since we're going second, we'll say that we can use the Megalo effect attribute to revive something out of the grave, to make these plays a little easier. And you know what, for that case, instead of grabbing Dragoons, what I'll do is I'll just grab an Infantry, because having Infantry will allow us to get Diva here in a second. And you see, I'm just trying to get to tuners as quick as possible. You'll notice that this is going to be sort of a continuing theme as time goes on, because getting tuners on board, going for synchros, is sort of how I want to play this deck, and it's just been fun for me to do so. So we'll activate Megalo here as Chainlink 3, Infantry 2, Dragoons 1, because we are playing Mizuchi in here, so we'll go ahead and search out Mizuchi, just like that, and Infantry will pop anything if there's any targets, and this is sort of setting up our revival of Infantry with Neptibus, and being able to play a little more Yu-Gi-Oh! So we'll activate the effect, Tribute, bring this out, and then we can normal summon for our extra normal summon, and go ahead and bring out a copy of Infantry, or not Infantry, but a copy. We could bring out Infantry if we wanted to, I suppose, but we'll bring out a copy of Marksman. And so here's an example of where if we didn't open up really good and we still had access to a Diva play, we could use Birdman to bounce the Diva back and normal summon it again, but we can't gain that normal summon again, obviously. But we could technically also bounce this back to use next turn and put this on the field to use a synchro material if we wanted to. There's a 6 right there. There's a 10. We can make a link, all these types of things, but I'll just keep this on the field for now because there's other sort of plays that we can make here using Destrudo. One of the main plays we could make is going for a card known as Christian Quarian Gandrax. This guy right here does require 2 tuners. He is level 9, but using Destrudo is super easy to do so, especially when you have Diva, or later when we have Rainbow Treasure Dragon, or Instant Fusion, you're summoning Theseus. So we would summon this, target this, and then synchro with these. That is 9, since he would get brought down to a level 5. And just banish 3 cards on their field or graveyard and sort of go about our business. But right now, what I think I'm going to do is just link into Mastar Boy just to start getting some damage being ready to be piled on here. And I'm going to summon the Destrudo here, targeting the Marksman, and then we'll go ahead and synchro into a level 7, which is going to be Destrudo. Or not Destrudo, I should say, but Yazi. We could have gone into Gungnir if we wanted. Then we'll use the Yazi, destroy something on their field, and trigger that effective Yazi. Hopefully it does go through. Then we'll summon Mermail. And Mermail effect here, what we can do is summon 2 tokens. We could possibly go for 3. And then at that point, we could use Gen X Ally Birdman to bounce this back. Then we have 3 tokens and a level 3 tuner, which would allow us to go for a level 6 synchro if we wanted to. Or we could just leave him on the field and summon a token and go into a level 7 again, like this Gungnir. But one cool thing that I should probably mention that I like to do, especially with Mermail and Megalo on board, we already use his effect attribute, but one thing you can do is use Mermail to summon a token and then have Megalo tribute. You just have to make sure you summon the token in attack position. what I'll do here is just summon a token, put it in attack position. It will gain attack from a Starboy, I believe putting it to 800, which is not too big of a deal. I'll summon another token to bring it down to level 5, and I will go ahead and synchro into a level 6, since we do have some extra cards in our hand that are pretty much not doing us any good. Mainly Birdman and Moray of Greed, which is just discard fodder at this point. We can use this to discard these 2 cards and return 2 cards on their field to their hand, and now we're hitting with them with plenty of damage. He's at 37, swinging twice, 19, and this is at 28, and this is at 800. Not that it matters too much. We could make a decode talker with it. We could make it a Link Karibo in main phase 2 if we really wanted to, just for added protection. Not too complicated, nothing really too fancy. We had plenty of removal that turn, plenty of avenues to play around, and that's just sort of how I like the deck. It's a non-linear playstyle, and you're never really going to end on the same board 2 times in a row. That's sort of one thing to take note of. Very, very fun to play, though. I do like this playstyle more than I can say than I did the Link Spam version, because that kind of got old for me really, really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and reset everything here, and we'll go ahead and get started with another test hand. Alright, so everything's all shuffled. We'll go ahead and get into another test hand real quick, and hopefully it's a decent one. That would be nice, obviously. So 5, 6 right there. This hand is actually not too bad either. Opening up Deshudo again. Mermail is being nice to me today. We haven't opened Mermail once. Although I'm sure it will happen, because Mermail is, he likes to curse me. The card can be quite a curse sometimes. So we open up some really cool extenders here. Instant Fusion, of course, Deshudo, Birdman again. 1 for 1, very, very cool to see here. And the nice thing about playing Deshudo and 1 for 1 in the same deck is it's good discard fodder. Same thing with playing anything like Gungnir or Bryanak, and you can use Bryanak to put the Deshudo on grave, and then immediately bring it back out and make a level 7. So tons of cool things you can do with Deshudo, but I'm sure you guys are already aware of that. Especially when we have access to a card like Mermail as well, which is basically a synchro generator, a link generator, tons of things. So we'll go ahead and grab Prince, of course, and then we'll use its effect to send Dragoons, and we will add a copy of Deep Sea Diva off of the Dragoons, and then we'll add a copy of, I'd like to add a copy of Infantry instead of Dragoons. So I'm going to add Diva and a copy of Dragoons here off of this. Mainly because I don't think we're going to get to a Megalo at the moment, but I'm thinking just discard fodder down the road for a card maybe like Gungnir or Bryanak, just to remove cards and put pressure on. But since we didn't have to normal summon the Prince, we'll normal summon the Diva, and that will summon out the Infantry. And we'll get to showcase here the added utility of Gen X Ally Birdman, which is going to be pretty nice. So yeah, Diva's going to summon out the Infantry, then we're going to use Birdman to return Diva back to the hand, and then we can normal summon the Diva again, and go ahead and bring out the Atlantean Marksman. Don't want to bring out another copy of Infantry, at least not right now. I mean, depending on sort of what your field looks like, or what your hand looks like, or whatever else you have to work with. Maybe you already drew another Infantry, then yeah, you can only go for the Marksman. But basically just seeing Diva and Birdman, I know they're 2 1-ofs, but they do equate to 4 cards pretty much for free, and that's pretty good. I also find that a lot of these cards like Instant Fusion and Birdman and stuff, they basically, and Diva especially, they allow for very easy outs against decks like Thunder Dragon, because Bryanak is just able to spin all of those cards back, and Bryanak is pretty easy to get to, even if you don't have the ability to search under a card like Colossus, which is why I wanted to start playing Bryanak, because just having him in the extra deck as an option to be able to use that mass, balance effect, very, very, very helpful. So there's a couple things we can do here. We can make Trish. We can make several plays here with the hand that we've been dealt. It's just trying to figure out what's the way I want to go down. I could do it probably very simply, but I want to make sure I pull everything together, all the possibilities, I should say. So I want to go for a link to immediately, which is going to be my Star Boy, and I want to use Marksman and Infantry. I don't want to link away all the non-tuners, mainly because I want to use the Destrudo, and I'm going to go ahead and use it right now, just to get it out of the grave. And I'm going to target this, and we'll make it a level 5, of course. Then we're going to go into a level 7. It's going to be Yazi, because Yazi is the usual suspect to go into first. We'll use his effect, destroy something on their field, and this is going to summon out a copy of Mermail. And again, I was thinking about playing 2 Mermail, but I think it's just better to stick with 1 for now, because I don't want to, you know, take the chances of opening the card even more than I do. We'll use Mermail to summon out a token. I was going to try to go for a Trish play here since we do have Instant Fusion, but I think I'm just going to hold off on that because we don't have enough room actually right now to go ahead and go through with that. But I am just going to summon the 1 token, and then we'll use the token and Mermail to synchro into a level 7. We'll go into Gungnir, we'll use its effect, discard the 2 Dragoons, we'll destroy 2 cards, we'll get 2 searches, and in Grave we have 7 waters, so we can't quite go for Moulin Glacia right now, but it doesn't matter. We're going second. We don't really need Moulin Glacia. Moulin Glacia is not really a priority, I should say. So I'm going to grab a copy of Infantry and just a copy of any other Sea Serpent. I guess I'll just grab Megalove just for the hell of it. So here we can go for... actually, I didn't even see this until now, but with this Instant Fusion, we have the option to mainly, well, we really have only one option, and that's to summon the Mud Dragon, or not the Mud Dragon, yeah, Mud Dragon. I almost called it King of the Swamp earlier. Summon Mud Dragon here, and we could either do 2 things. We can go into a Bryanak here, just like that, or instead of doing that, what we could do is summon the Mud Dragon and synchro with this, and this into a copy of Crystron, Quarian, Gandrix, and banish 3 cards on their field. This right here, I do believe, is enough damage for a game. So we're swinging in for 35, 3K, that's 65, 75 plus 900, so that is game. And we've cleared several cards off their field. We banished 3 things. We have a called by. Like, this is just game by sheer numbers, and we've cleared so many things. We could have played through so many things as well. We didn't have to get to this point. We could have probably done half of what we did and still put on tons and tons of damage. But that's just a cool play. Like I said, we could have gone for Bryanak if there was some other card we needed to remove not by destruction and just bounce it instead, or just banishing works well too. So there's that hand. We'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get things shuffled up here, and we'll get started on to the next one. Alright, so I should have pile shuffled in between, but I didn't. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt me. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what we can draw to. So far, these 2 test hands have been pretty good, which I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but usually my luck on camera isn't always the greatest. So let's go ahead and draw into our opening hand here. Again, we're going to draw for 6 cards because we are going second. Keep that in mind. So we drew into a pretty decent hand here. And Twin Twister is a new addition to the build. Some testing and talk happened on the stream. And if you hear me talk about my stream a lot, it's just because I've been testing so much on, I should say, my Mermail deck on stream, just because that's the only time I ever really get to do mass amounts of playtesting and also just do it while streaming, which is kind of a bonus. But I've just been working Twin Twisters in the main deck, and I'm playing 2 copies because I figured why not. Having back row mover against a lot of decks, game 1 is always going to be a huge plus. If it means hitting a Widow Anchor or some protocols out of your way to start, it's just a win-win. So with this hand, We'll summon Megalo. Almost said summon Moon Glacia, but that would just be a step ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and grab Diva, because we already drew into Mizuchi here, so I'm not going to be searching anything else. Just going to go for the Diva play. Keep in mind, this is a riskier play. You probably should go for Prince here, depending on what you're playing against, because it's not super, you know, prone to hand traps, I should say. At least not as much as Diva is. Diva is just a hand trap magnet. So we'll Diva into infantry, bounce it back with Birdman, and then summon out Diva one more time, summoning Prince, using its effect, sending Dragoons, and we'll add a copy of infantry and a copy of Dragoons, because we're not going to be doing too much discarding after this through Megalo, so we don't really need to add Megalo to our hand. We can sort of just add cards we need to discard off cards like either Gungnir or Bryanak. Keep that in mind. So now what we can do is use Megalo here to tribute the Prince, bring back the Dragoons, because bringing back Dragoons here is actually going to be pretty nice. So what we'll do here is we can synchro into a 7 with these, we can go into a 10 with these, we can go into a 6, or we could go into a 9 with these. We can go right into Trish and then make a Mistar Boy. Well, we'd have to make the Mistar Boy first, but I would like to go into a level 7 synchro first, if possible. So what I'll do here is just link these two away. Actually, no. I would say link the Megalo away, but I want some damage on our field, and we did use the tribute effect, so might as well take advantage of it. So we'll go right into Mistar Boy. Then we'll synchro for a 7. We'll go right into Yazi. Yazi effect, pop something. By the way, you don't always have to go into Yazi. I like going into Yazi because I like getting Mermail out of the deck as soon as possible. And he isn't always a bad choice to go into against some decks because he just can't be targeted. And that's sometimes a really hard thing for your opponent to deal with. So we'll summon a token, and I think we'll only just do it once. We could summon up to 3 tokens, though. Keep that in mind as well. And if we were playing Coral Dragon, which again, Coral Dragon is still a very viable option, what we could do is summon 1 token, or summon 2 tokens, synchro for a 6, make Coral Dragon use its effect, and then synchro for a 7 again, draw a card. That's another thing you can do. It's just finding the room for both Bryanak and Coral Dragon I find is difficult. So we're just going to summon 1 token, and then we'll synchro into Gungnir. And then we'll use this effect to discard 2, and we'll get to destroy 3 cards because we met the requirement for Bryanak or Gungnir, which is to discard 2 to destroy up to 2. But we also discard infantry. That'll get its own effect, and we also get a search of a Sea Serpent, which I'm just going to grab a Neptibus for next turn. And like I said, this is sort of a more dumbed down version of last turn. 1 less synchro play, still just as much damage. We also have this here, so this is at 37, this is at 3k, and we also have a Twin Twister to knock out any back row, and if for some reason it's not game, we can just do this in main phase 2, and that should be game, theoretically. So that wraps it up for that test hand. We'll go ahead and reset everything here and jump into another one. Maybe we won't open Gen X Birdman this time. It's not really big of a deal, but I'm surprised we're opening that one up over Mermail, and I guess I shouldn't be complaining. I guess I'm not. I'm just kind of surprised because I have pretty bad luck with that card. So I'm going to go reset, and we'll get started on another test hand. Alright, everything's all shuffled. I did pile shuffle this time, so let's see what our luck ends up being. We'll do another going second hand, and we'll see what we draw into. Instant Fusion, Neptibus, Deshrudo, and there he is. Will we get a Moray of Greed? No, we will not. So we open Mermail. Not really the end of the world, I found. We still get to use Deshrudo, because a lot of times I feel like when you open Mermail, you can't use Deshrudo. That's not the case. This is just a bonus off of your Yazi, essentially. So it's an engine requirement that's not really an engine requirement, which is nice because if you do open both of these, it makes your hand a little not as great, but it also, you can still use the card. It's not like we open Brilliant Fusion and your Garnet, you know, your Brilliant Fusion becomes useless at that point. Not really the case here. So we'll start things off with the Neptibus, and we'll start by sending Dragoons, adding Megalo, and adding Dragoons. Because not really too much else to do there with Neptibus. Neptibus is Neptibus. It's always going to sort of serve the same function. Then we'll summon Megalo, discarding double Dragoons. And we already opened Mooling Glacier, so I don't need to worry about searching that card, which is nice. So here we can grab quite a few things, but again, with the way our hand is, what we could do technically is grab Diva and maybe, I don't know, I don't think I really want to go down that road, but first things first, let's just grab a Mizuchi. I don't think we'll be able to get a Diva set up here because we don't really have an infantry engrave to revive anything with. Technically, I didn't have to add the Dragoons off of that. We could have just added an infantry. Yeah, I could have just added an infantry and done it that way. Discarded the infantry because we didn't open this in Dragoons. Send to Dragoons, added infantry and Megalo. So yeah, we could have done that, and I think that's what I will do actually. So we'll add this, and then blow up a card on their field. Use Megalo to tribute, to revive, to summon, and then we'll go and grab our marksman or whatever we have left in deck at that point. So when we open Mooling Glacier, it's going to be pretty easy to set up Mooling. So for me, I'm going to just get rid of those two and go right into my Starboy, drop the Mooling Glacier. And now I'm going to activate Instant Fusion here and summon out the Mud Dragon of the Swamp and Synchro into a level 6. Go into Bryanak, use Bryanak's effect. We can discard these two to spin two things. And then at this point, if we weren't happy with just having the Bryanak, we could use Desrudo, target this, and then Synchro into a level 7, either Yazi or the Bryanak, or not Bryanak, the Gungnir, whatever we see fit. Because if we do, let's say, not have enough damage here with all of this, a double attacking Megalo, we could have spin just one card by just discarding the Mermail. And we could have actually just discarded the Desrudo. I don't know why I didn't think of that as being an option. So we could have just discarded those, equipped this, and then, like I said, if this doesn't end up being enough damage with the removal that we had, because this is 2600, or this is 2800, 3200, and this is at 37, this is at 19, then we can just use this from the graveyard, target the Bryanak, make a level 7, whether you want to be Yazi or Gungnir, and then just overlay for Red Eyes Flare once again and just sort of secure the victory via damage once again. So yeah, there is that test hand, and I think that's probably going to do it for the video because my throat is killing me right now from all the talking. Voice stamina is pretty low today, I guess. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any things you want to add in, sort of other plays I could have done just via your own thinking, let me know. And also let me know if you want to see more test hands with this deck. I'll try to do more duels as well. I'll try to get some combo videos, make up some going second combos for you guys as well that use some sort of different cards. You know, using like the Gen X Allied Birdman play, the Diva plays, the Desrudo plays. So many cool things to do with this build. And again, huge thanks to our sponsor, Imperium Duelist, for being so awesome, sending me this playmat, all these beautiful sleeves. And again, if you want some yourself at a discounted price, you can check out the information in the description to Imperium Duelist and help support me, help you guys save a little money in the process, so it's a win-win. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're having a good one. As always, Murray Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.